Good morning. I didn't even look at my hair this morning. It's everywhere. Yes, Mayor. Messy. Um, Healing. Like real healing. That light is in over my head. I can't. It's irritating me this morning. Okay, well, doing the best I can. This is the best I got for you today. That light is irritating me in the reflection. No, okay, I'm gonna just let it go. One of the idiosyncrasies is kicking in this morning. But yeah, healing is messy. It's messy. It's messy. It's messy. But learning you, becoming more honest with you is powerful. And it's the joy that happens after. It's going through the process. If you get stuck in the middle, it's getting through to the other side where the freedom is expressed. I'm free. I'm joy. And I'm looking out my window because it'd be like this. And I hear what sounds like fireworks at this time in the morning. The sun is not even up, but they are probably finishing the party from last night or waking up the saints, because that's what they tell you too, that it could be them waking up the saints. But I'm not going to go running from window to window to look for the fireworks like I usually do when I'm not on live. So I'm going to try to stay focused. But yeah, it's the after. It's the refining process. That's what it is. It's intentionally stirring up the mess, but it's then skimming that stuff out of our lives. Um, in farming and running a restaurant, food is my thing, and you're dealing with raw ingredients, and you're cooking something down, and there's that foam that's on the top, that heat and that boiling process brings up. It's the impurities. When you're making tallow or something like that, you're melting down the fat off of a butchering thing. You try not to waste nothing. That was in farming. It becomes that confliction of values. The value of life, the taking of life. It's that choice if you choose to eat meat, and the reality of that in real time, having something in your hand and knowing that you're taking the life and making that choice, understanding the trauma that creates, but then also valuing and wanting to use every bit of that experience, every bit of it. And so you take that fat and you cook that fat down, but you're doing that because it brings the impurities to the top. You put salt in it. Salt's an irritant. Get you an open wound and have some salt drop into that, or the salt out of your sweat, and you feel that burn. It's an irritant. But the salt is what helps draw those impurities out. So what you're left with is the purity, the tallow, the lard, depending on what it is you're processing. This is a little bit of farm wisdom I hadn't planned to share with you, but I'm sharing it with you anyway this morning. But it brings that out. That salt brings out those impurities, and it lets it rise to the surface so we can get it out of us. Healing is that process. It's messy. It requires the heat, the intensity, feeling those emotions. If you really have situations in life that caused you some emotional discomfort, choosing to go back and dig up those emotions. It was uncomfortable the first time I dealt with this. I was living it and I felt it. Wait, I'm going to dig it up again. You go back and dig that up again so that you can take those impurities out. We're taking the impurities out of our life and what's supposed to be left by all these spiritual practices, these sacred writings. Pick whichever one is your faith path. If it's Christianity, it's the Bible. If it's Islam, it's the Quran. There's a whole bunch of other sacred writings. They have a common core. And it's if we do these things, it's supposed to help us rise the impurities out of our life. And what's supposed to be left when we take all of that off, take all the masks off, the masks that our pain and our hurt and the trauma has created for us, pull them curtains all the way back to the core, What's supposed to be left at the core is love. The imagery that I use, my restaurant before I retired was called Seeds, the farmer, Seeds Cafe Farm and Farmers Market. I'm glad to be retired, y'all. I'm so glad. But the The farm wisdom, for those of you that are not farmers, I'm going to give you some farm wisdom this morning. I'm going to use my experience in farming. If I take a seed and I plant that seed, the only thing I reasonably can expect to get is the fruit of that seed. If I plant a collard seed, I do not expect apples to come. I'm going to be looking for collards. Right now around my house, I have a mystery stash. I got a micro farm on my patio. Tinkering. I got lots of tinkering, lots of prototype projects and experiments going on. And I put random seeds out there. All the stuff, cherimoya, soursop, oranges, lemons, something. Sometimes look between it. You don't know if it's an orange or a lemon, limes. I just throw it out there, guavas, and then I have to guess what's growing. This is an interesting plant I've never seen before. I don't know what this plant is. I got one now. It's got nice straight stems with leaves going off and thorns on it. I have no idea what it is. It's something that I've never seen grow. I can't get a good enough picture for Google Lens to tell me exactly what it is. It keeps saying blueberries, but blueberries shouldn't have thorns. Maybe they do in South America. I don't really know. But that seed that's planted, whatever it is, if I knew how to identify it, I'd be able to understand exactly what's coming out of that particular plant. I transfer that knowledge to us because for me, the spiritual stuff, if it ain't practical, then we're just talking poetry and that ain't real. If what's planted in us is love, if at the core, what's supposed to be within us, in our heart-centeredness is love. That's why the heart is the symbol for love. If love is what has been planted in us by DNA, by epigenetics, by spiritual transmission, whatever the case may be, if that's the case, if all the weeds get removed, what's supposed to grow from that is love. Ain't nothing else that can come from that seed, nothing else. In the garden, though, if you got weeds around that seed, I done paid money for this good seed. I've made sure it's got good genetics. It's a pure clone. That's what we do. It's a clone of the original, so you don't lose integrity. You don't lose all of the information. It's an exact replica. It can replicate actually from the very same plant that it came from. Good seeds, good seeds. If I plant that and I don't tend to the ground before I plant it, if I don't move those weeds back out of the way, even though that seed in that little bitty container has every bit of potential packed into it, if I don't do that other work, them weeds will strangle it. But healing is saying the seed is still there. It's there. Mirror's still working. The seed is still there. Seeds try to grow. If they have even a slim chance of thinking they got a possibility of surviving, they'll germinate and try to take root. But if we haven't cleaned out the other parts of that environment, the soil, the weeds, the other stuff, you got junk laying around your garden and you're trying to grow stuff, the busyness of life. If we don't move that stuff out of the way, that seed, even though it may be trying to grow, its growth will be stifled. And the whole purpose of that seed is for it to germinate, to grow, and to produce offspring, fruit. That's his job. More seeds. If it thinks it's in a stage where it might die, it shuts down that production and says, we got to move on to seeds now. The time for producing fruit is gone. Now it's time for us to plant seeds. And all the energy goes towards creating seeds. Why? Survival, sustainability. Us. Let's transfer the farm wisdom to us. If at the core, we're supposed to be the reflection of the divine. And if at the core, the divine is love. God is love. Put that in whatever, translate it for yourself. Working in an interfaith space, I've learned to be bilingual spiritually. Whatever your faith tradition, translate that, because I know you got a principle that matches that within your faith system. studied them enough to know there's that commonality. If God is love, and we are a product of that, what's been implanted in us is that seed of love. It's supposed to grow love. The weeds in our life stop it from happening so purely. It stops us from looking in that mirror and seeing the exact reflection of love in our behavior, in our thoughts, our deeds. When those things don't look like love, weeds. Why? Fear, guilt, and insecurity. It always boils down to that. And so part of this process of making sure that seed of love grows within us is removing the weeds. We're supposed to be able to learn spiritual truth by looking around at nature. I had to go be a whole farmer to understand some of that. I had a better vantage point for some of the Christian scriptures specifically that come from an agrarian mindfulness. A lot of the Christian scriptures are about farm wisdom because it was talking to people who were involved in the agricultural space. You talk about pruning vines, pruning the grapevines. I grew up right outside of Napa. I know what that looks like. It ain't cute. Mary was talking about messy. Go to Napa Valley after the crush, after the harvest time. They take these old vines, they gnarly. You ever seen an old person who's got like rheumatoid arthritis and the hands, the joints be gnarly? Old grapevines, seasoned grapevines look like that. And those beautiful tentacles and branches, after the season, they turn to this rich purple, majestic colors. And you see this, they cut all of that off. All of that new growth gets cut off. All that's left is that gnarly stump. It looks like death. They do that because then new growth can come, and that's where the best fruit are, from the new growth. They cut back all of the old that no longer serves it. They cut it to the core. When I began to understand that, the Christian scriptures talk about the pruning process, that committing to live your life according to purpose, the purpose that your seed was created for, requires pruning. I began to see that in my life. I had to prune away a whole lot of what society was telling me. I had to prune away a whole lot of what church was telling me, what religion was telling me, what society was telling me. I had to cut that to the core. It was painful and it was messy. You cut those branches off and you got a pile of mess laying around you in your life. It's people, it's relationships that you got to grieve. It's places you can't go no more because it doesn't fit anymore. It doesn't nurture the growth that you're trying to have. And so it's messy. And it feels like death. That's the rising phoenix symbology. We just had Easter. It's the death and resurrection cycle. Healing feels like death because it is. What in your life through this process are you having to put to death? I hope it's some of those values that are conflicting with your life and creating trauma over and over and over again. Values that we've drugged behind us like heavy bags and boulders. And then we're wondering why we're so exhausted because we've been carrying this heavy load in our hearts, in our minds, in our lives, in our relationships, in the way we move or don't move. It's about seeing that and understanding that that is the process. My dad would say, you can't live till you lose the fear of death. And I've thought about that for years. It'll be the 18th, Father's Day will be the 18th anniversary of his passing. My dad died on Father's Day, 2007. And y'all ain't got to, I'm just offering it as a suggestion. When I think about that, I realized my fear for death was not nearly as great as my fear for healing. So maybe there's things that we fear worse than death. In my work, I've realized that to be true. The certifications that I got before I retired in suicide prevention, community-led efforts, faith-led efforts. I got a couple of them, they give you those certificates. All of it was saying that there are some people that fear death less, fear healing more than they fear death. Rather take my life, end it, instead of dealing with this. Oftentimes because we don't know how, we don't have the support. There's a whole bunch of reasons why. And so this messiness, this death process, become the ashes that we build new lives out of, one step at a time. Healing sometimes isn't a grand, all of a sudden shift, but it is. It's the shift that then starts you in a different direction. From that one situation, that one value identified, that one value released. But then, because I'm on this farm and wisdom kick, when we got good seeds and we want to get a good harvest, a couple things that we do on the farm. First thing we do is we take them weeds, put them in a pile and burn them up. Burn them up. We burn them up for a couple of reasons. One, you don't ever want those seeds to germinate again. And the only way to make sure that that happens is you burn them completely. But then something magical happens because it's those very ashes that become the fertilizer for that good seed. The weeds aren't wasted. But I realized also that that loop only happens with healing. If I don't take those weeds from my life and burn them up completely, never to regenerate again, then it's just painful experiences. It's just energy wasted on hurt and on harm. Some of you know, though, I like getting my money's worth. I've already spent the money on the pain, carrying them weeds around, carrying those boulders through my life, and the damage that it has created all over the place, all over the place. Wherever I went, my damage went with me like poison, spraying it out into the places that I went and the relationships that I interacted with. But when I take them and I do the messy work, I do the hard work, I pull those weeds out, I separate them from what is good. The very weeds, when burned in that pile, become the very fertilizer for the good seeds. They become the fuel that helps that seed that's already within me grow. And it's love, but it's also the passions and the purpose. What was I created to be? And so this is a loop. We talk about universal principles and that idea of a circle of life. I hear, Lion King songs playing in my head, but that circle, death, rebirth, death, resurrection, rebirth. Every single one of these cycles is a death and a resurrection and a rebirth. The 5B process is, what do I see? Part of it can be, what do I see in this moment, this situation that may have created trauma that needs to die? Some values I've been holding that conflict with other values that I'm holding, and one of them seems like truth and the other one seems like a lie. I think I'll let the lie go if I'm being honest. But it also may be the resurrection. I've been living on these values and I forgot. Now I remember. That's not the truth. That's not who I am. That's not who I choose to be. And the rebirth. I need to birth some new boundaries in my life because things have changed. My perspective has changed. My tolerances have changed. And that is the messy, joyful work of healing in my experience. It's over and over again committing to letting die what needs to die so that what can be rebirthed are the good seeds. It's killing the weeds in my life so that the good seeds that are already there got space to grow. got space to reach a potential that they couldn't reach when they were trying to grow and fight the weeds at the same time, fight for water, fight for the nutrition and the nourishment in the soil at the same time. What if that part was gone and they could just be free to grow? What would happen to you if the energy that you have spent in your life, dragging your boulders and your bags around, could be free to fuel love and passion in your life? What would happen? I'm enough of a risk taker to say, I'll go see. I'm going to see. Maybe nothing happens. Worst case scenario, nothing happens. Best case scenario, I'm free. And that really was a rabbit trail to where I was going this morning. But it's probably the same essence. This morning, I was going to share a writing that I did about Denise Williams' song, Free, about wanting to be free, singing about it, but then living this life where you don't even believe it. Go back and listen to the song. I ain't gonna go there today. Maybe I'll go there tomorrow if I think about it, and if a whim doesn't take me somewhere else. But it's about being in a situation as a woman. I can identify with her. She's speaking from a woman's voice. She's speaking from a Black woman's voice. The things I'm whispering in your ear and the forevers that I don't even believe in myself, but at the same time saying, but I want to be free. This is what I got and what I think I can have, what I think I'm worthy of, but I know there's some freedom and I feel it, that no matter where I'm at right now, I want this freedom. I ain't going there today because it would take me on another 20-minute rabbit trail. But freedom is what this is about. Do you have the freedom so that the seed, your seed, can grow? You are the seed. This is the environment, because it makes a difference where you put that seed. If your environment ain't conducive for growth, it'll try, but the likelihood of getting to the fruit producing stage of that, and definitely the seed producing stage, goes down. And so this is about helping us have a framework for doing the messy work of healing. We all know that we need it, and I believe firmly, boldly, that we have a 100% trauma rate. We all got some. Big, small, different kinds. But in society, do we have the frameworks for now how to heal? Because if we don't do healing, this is my last soapbox moment this morning. If we don't do healing, I promise you, it ain't going to be worth our energy to do community. Community will become too damaging for us to do if we don't do healing. It'll be too painful to do community. And if we lose community, we've lost a lot. They can create AI counterparts now. They'll tell you what you want to hear. Won't ruffle your ego or your feathers. And in a lot of ways, this is going to be the alternative to interacting with folk who traumatize you every time you interact with them. But humanity needs to win. And if we're going to, then we need to fix this so that we don't continue to deteriorate ourselves by our interactions. Because we ain't doing it on purpose. We're doing it because it's the best we can do. Most of the time, people are not set out, I'm trying to destroy you, I'm trying to traumatize you. No, I'm just trying to survive me. And you get the residual poison that becomes part of my drugs of choice and the necessity. And so I promote healing, even knowing it's messy. It's painful. It's hard. It takes energy. It takes life currency. And so part of my work has been saying, it's hard. How can we help that process? How can we help people buy the emotional space, the physical space? That's what the center is about. Trying to heal while you put on the defense to all of society is hard. Doing it by yourself while you're putting up the defenses and trying to survive is hard. And some of the things that we offer is take a break where you can be 100% committed to you, where you can take every ounce of energy you have and invest it in you so that you can do the healing. It's rest in a different kind of way because it's rest that's got a purpose. It ain't rest so that you can just go back and do the same stuff you've been doing. Although that helps. That's why people take vacations. I just need a little bit of rest, and then I can go back and fight the war. And this is saying rest so that you can then invest that energy in your healing so that when you go back, you want a better paradigm. You got tools so that what has been happening doesn't keep traumatizing you in the same way. And I'm talking about what you've been doing, because you can't control them folk out there, but you can control you. And I've realized that my energy invested in my healing helps everybody else I come in contact with. Seems like a paradox till you think about it logically. If I get better, I have better capacity to interact in community. And so my gift, the way that I heal the world, is Buddhist tradition. You ain't got to be Buddhist to believe it. But it says if you've healed one person, you have healed the world. The reality is you ain't got but one person you can control the healing of, and that's you. Do that. Do that. We'll be worried about healing everybody else. You can't control them folks. You. And how you going to control them folks and you can't control yourself? Come on, let's just stop. We got to stop. Got to stop. Got to stop. And so this work really is about the messiness of it and saying, how do we make it less messy, less painful? One, we have better tools. Two, we do it together. We do it together. We can do hard stuff. And we require it. It's our responsibility. Are you committed to doing it if ain't nobody going with you? That should be the kind of commitment that really undergirds this and gives you the stamina to do this kind of healing work. But if I'm committed and you're committed, why can't we do it together so that we can support each other? And that's what this is about. That's why we're here this morning. That's why you're here listening to my rant about it, because it's important to me. It's important enough for me to be up in the morning at before sunrise talking to you guys, holding space, because that's the part I can do. Put on enough clothes to go on video live. I can do that. I can do that. I can muster that up to be able to be here and hold space. And then you too. You up, probably before dark time at your place, holding space for the others that want to do it together. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for the work. That's where I'm going today. I think I'll end there, because if not, I'll get on a whole nother. Obviously, I'm on a soapbox tangent today and you guys can get it, but I'm going to stop because this time has been dedicated for us to be able to do our healing work. All right, let me see. Let me check in. Mayor is feeling eager, excited, tired, and grateful. It'd be all of that together. Yes, yes, yes. Messiness, joy, adjustments, multiple adjustments. Good morning, mentally magnificent. Yeah. That's my reality. My dad was right-ish. But I realized we fear things worse than death. We'll die taking this stuff to our grave. How many folks you know that have taken their unhealed stuff to the grave? They didn't want to do it. They didn't know how. They didn't think they could. They didn't think they were worthy of it. They didn't think it was possible. Insert appropriate explanation or excuse. Rebirthing new boundaries. Yeah. Would there be a benefit in doing one of these journal writings on a positive experience? Absolutely. This works for any experience. And the trigger point is anytime you are feeling an emotion, pleasant or unpleasant, use the process. Because this is focused on getting you prepared to do the healing work, but it works also to help you evaluate your values. Sometimes you're having a positive experience and you work through the values and realize that you're enjoying something that ain't good for you. Oftentimes, though, when things are feeling good, it creates less swirling in our lives. But this process works the same way and can help you confirm that your feel good is matching up with your values. I told her off and I felt good about that. Check the values. Ooh, I'm feeling good about treating people with disrespect. Match their energy. I felt good. I gave her my peace of mind and I felt good about that. Check the values. Ooh, I felt good. Mirror. I felt good about disrespecting and destroying someone's spirit. That's what I felt good about. Ooh, was that sustainable? Self. My feel good may not be lining up with the is good. So you can use this process for all of them. I often focus on the healing parts, the things that come up that are uncomfortable, because that's usually the stuff we don't have the tools to deal with and we run away from. We don't usually run away from the stuff that feels good, but use it. It helps you learn the process, the thinking process. It helps you learn to hone in on your values, because we don't talk that way in society oftentimes. We don't talk about social covenants that we make that sometimes be in our head because we don't have the conversations. We don't have the honest conversations to discuss what our expectations are. But you can use it for both. Anytime an emotion is triggered, positive or negative, use the process, because that reminds you and it's retraining your thinking. Because part of this for me is this has become first nature. If something's happening in my life, I automatically think it through this way, because it reduces the amount of trauma that I even pick up from the beginning. It stops it at the front. Like, let's stop this. This is already, I think in yesterday's group chat, I was saying that if someone says you should, if they even start a conversation with that, I stop them. I'm like, let me just, because I don't want to tune you out. You might have good information and you just tune me out because I'm going to put up that barrier because trauma getting ready to happen, and I'll stop them. Sometimes I'll even ask them for clarity because I want to be engaged in the conversation. And I'll say, are you telling me what I should do? Because if you do, you're going to violate my values right off the rip. Right off the rip, you fit to create some trauma. Are you giving me a suggestion? Oh, okay. If you're giving me a suggestion, then my value system says I can take suggestions in, do what you want to with it, take it, leave it. And sometimes I'll even, because of the person that I may be dealing with, if you give me the suggestion and I don't take it, are you going to be butt sore about this? Are you giving me this suggestion with an expectation that I have to take your advice? Because if so, keep it, because I might traumatize you. If you give me that information and I don't take it, it's going to create trauma for you because your expectations. So let's just avoid the trauma. No, it was just a suggestion. Are you sure? Are you being honest? Suggestion. I'm open to suggestions. Thank you. But it lets me stop it before it starts. Stop it. I ain't supposed to take on that trauma if I can help it. Take too much effort to fix it after it's put some roots down and weeds have gotten tower high and you got to go pull them weeds out and get all the tentacles. I just rather stop it from the beginning. And so this gives even a real-time processing tool as you begin to create a new nature of thinking. So yes, mentally magnificent, positive or negatives, anytime the emotion is thrown on your life, check and see if you're in alignment or not in alignment with your values. Feeling peace. All right, there's another emotion. Got it. I'm thinking about my family. Somebody were challenging, but there was one person like a shining light. I'm thinking about, yep. Because you can go and look and see why this person connects with you. Our values are similar. This person operates in a certain way. Now I know why there's an attraction in this interaction. I use it for a whole bunch of things I won't go into, but this feels good working with these people. Why? These people be motivating me. Why? Our values align. They about that business. They about doing what they talking about. They say what they mean. They da-da-da-da. Our values are in alignment. That's why it feels good. Self, we lining up. The feel good matches our values. It draws me to people, the attraction. So it gives you the explanation for the attraction or the repelling that we do with people. You're in a situation that something don't feel good to you. Check it out. What's not feeling good? Why is this not feeling good? In a situation that it feels good to you, check it out. Why is this feeling good to me? And make sure it aligns. All right, I think that I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna for real stop there. I'm gonna put my soapbox down this morning. Y'all go listen to Denise Williams Free. Maybe I'll talk about it tomorrow. I had some stuff written about that. Maybe I'll go there tomorrow, but this really did capture the essence of that. Free, the messiness of healing and the quest for freedom. All right, the instruction video is in the pin to the top. Thank you for those of you that joined in on the group chat yesterday. I enjoy those times. It lets us have a two-way dialogue instead of just, this monologue experience that YouTube gives me in the morning. So thank you for coming and sharing with each other, because that's how we grow together. We share because each one of us has got a little bit of experience that can benefit each other in other ways. So thank you all for coming and holding space in that way with us. We are winding down to the last part of it. Oh, you're welcome. Magnificent. If you have questions, I'll be here monitoring during our time this morning. The videos are there. If you go to nowastedtime.com and you look at the resources, scroll down a little bit towards the bottom. There's some resource links. There's a link that has a playlist to several training videos with different people, different times that go through this. They're all meant to take you through the steps. All of them talk about the steps in a way that you can pause, do step, pause, go to the next step, pause, and have a little bit of commentary and instruction wrapped around that. So feel free to use that as kind of like your virtual coach to coach you through this process. I'm playing with a couple other things that I might talk about before we end this time with technology and how that may be able to help us with the healing process and this particular tool. So stay tuned. What else? If you want to know about more of the offerings here at the International Welcome Center, go to globalundergroundrailroad.com and scroll down to the offerings. We've got a bunch of training. Everything from our 1 week, which is really the introductory experience of coming here, the Healing Vacation Retreat. It's a great vacation, but it also does some real intensive work with you during that week of making sure you know how to use these tools and working with you to unload some of your big boulders that you come and bring that we work on while you're here. We also do the month-long intensive, which is really a deep dive. It is 30 days of this where you spend part of your day, every single day, working on a list of issues or a relationship that you really want to do a deep dive on and make sure that we're pulling those weeds out of. It's intense. It's a lot. It's like the cold plunge. I tell people it's like that cold plunge where first it's like, but then you acclimate to it. And so it's an opportunity to be able to come away. But we also offer sabbaticals. Anyone that comes and does training can stay over and rent and do sabbaticals. Ecuador makes it easy to stay up to 6 months, 180 days. You can come and do 90 days on a visitor visa, but our visitor extension visa, the extension for the visitor visa is very easy. I think it's like $150 that gives you the second 90 days. So we make that available in our co-housing space where you can do the training and then come and just have, we do a weekly healing circle and house meeting. But you can come and just kind of rest. And that works for people that really want to take a sabbatical that has the foundational healing and support, but also for people that are transitioning out of the country. This is a very affordable place to be able to transition to as a soft landing, whether it's to be here in Ecuador or finding other places to be able to go from. Some people use it in that way. But go there to offerings. There's a bunch of options that you can see, as well as some of our leadership training. Let's see what else. This is my, I don't do marketing stuff too good. Soul Safari, if you're interested in the Healing Vacation Retreat and want to do it with us in Kenya, there's an extra benefit that it really will be a cultural exchange. Half of the individuals, there'll be 13 leaders from Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and Tanzania that will also be at that retreat in Kenya, Kitale, Kenya in November. So if you're interested in the Healing Vacation Retreat, there's no difference in cost. Plane fare might be a little bit different, but there's no difference in price. It's a really set fee that we're trying to create throughout our network. And this is a center that will probably be the next International Welcome Center in Kenya. So we're really excited about this partner. And the preparations are already underway because those leaders have to go through training to even be able to partner with our network. So I'm really excited about that, their excitement. So if you're interested in the Healing Vacation Retreat and want to do it in Kenya, we have 13 spaces available for that. Reach out. I'm looking for it to be really, really, really a fun experience, a richly rewarding experience. And then it sets me up for my birthday trip and I'll already be in Africa. So like, I'm working on that with the few days that I have left on my visa before I have to apply for my permanent visa. So I'm trying not to overuse my days out of country so that when I come back from that, I can get my permanent visa because I'm trying to stay an immigrant in this chapter of life. So, all right, I really, really am stopping. I went way longer today than usual. Kenya sounds amazing. Yeah, it's going to be fabulous. So if that's of interest to you, I'll try to get that picture feed up when we go on silent mode, the thing where the pictures scroll for you. So there's information on it there. Just, pause your screen and you can read some of that information or reach out, and I can give you more information about that. All right. It's the Healing Vacation Retreat that we do here. It's the same retreat. There'll be some added pieces because we've got some partnerships. So there'll be one of the partners is really bringing movement and motion into it. So there'll be some of that, the somatic parts of that. The excursions will be different, but we've mapped them out because we're going to be in Africa. So you won't be doing the excursions here. You'll be doing excursions there. But it is the healing vacation retreat that we offer here. It's a 1 week, it's a 1 week, I want to say training, but we take you through these tools and really work with you. There's intensive coaching during that time. That's what I meant to say. It's really an intensive coaching time. So it's the same thing that we offer here at the center in Ecuador. We're just offering it there, and they are learning how to use this and incorporate this into their facility, the Tabasamu Africa Hub there in Kitale. So they are leaders of leaders. And so all of the leaders that come are these leaders that they work with that are community leaders. Many of them have a specific focus of working with the youth, the emerging youth of the world, and in those particular regions. So we'll have a group of leaders there. So for those that feel called to lead or to heal in professional ways, this is a really good cultural exchange where you'll be meeting with other leaders who have recognized that you need this underpinning of personal development to be able to lead. So it's going to be great. I'm excited about it. I'm super excited about it. So, yeah. Love all the classes. And yeah, Kenya sounds amazing. So I'm saying, all right, that's it. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying no more. Reach out if you want information. Go to the website. There's a bunch of articles about the social tech work on the nowastedtime.com, our collaborative page. But you can find out specifically about the services through the center on the Global Underground Railroad page. All right, you guys have a good day. I'm going to stop talking now. Obviously, I have a lot of energy because I feel rested. I feel very rested today. So I have a lot of energy this morning, and I'm going to do some stuff to use that creative energy this morning. All right. Thank you for sharing and letting us heal together. Have a great day. And I'm going to go into silent mode now.